For many years we've been training people to be RYA Powerboat instructors, and one of the questions so commonly asked is, what do I need to do to become a powerboat instructor, to work in an environment like this, to teach people on the sort of boat we've got behind or on the school ribs? And in this short video we'll actually just give you a bit of a flavour as to what it's all about. Well, first off, you need to have Powerboat Level 2, and you also need to have a first aid qualification that's sort of relevant to teaching afloat. And there's information on the RYA website as to that side of things. You need to have at least 5 years experience, or that could be reduced to 1 year if it's part of your job to be afloat full time. So perhaps if you're a police officer afloat in a marine section, you're working every day of the year on the water, then the skills you need can be acquired far quicker. But generally speaking, you're looking at about 5 years of skills. That may be in one location. Ideally, it could be across a range of boats and a range of different locations. But what that 5 years means is a little bit open to debate. Is that, how many days a year is that? How many hours a year is that? And there's no set guidance from the RYA in that regard. So what I'd suggest is, if you're interested, just have a chat with a school and a powerboat trainer to understand whether you're at the level in that regards. But the key thing is to get out and get loads of experience, to get out doing boating. Because if you want to teach others, then quite obviously if their level, the level you're going to teach at is there, you need to be above that level. So what can you do to do that? Well, Powerboat Level 2 is the entry requirement, but if you could get out there and do your intermediate powerboat course, that's a great way of upping your skills. The essential navigation and seamanship is a great way to bring your theory level up, or even the day skipper theory, to take it to that little bit higher. It's not that you're going to teach at that level, but it gives you that level of knowledge that gives you comfort that you're absolutely all over your charts, your tides, your buoys, your coal regs, that you're going to need from a teaching point of view. In terms of the course, then there's a powerboat instructor skills assessment, and that takes a half day for 3 people, and that can occur up to 6 months before your instructor course, or can be the day before, and which it is really depends on your personal situation as to whether maybe you're flying into a location to do a course and so on. Ideally, I think if you can give it sort of 4 to 6 weeks before the instructor course, then that gives you time to actually tidy up skills, be it boat handling or theory. And that's skills assessment is essentially taking you onto the water and getting you to demo the on-water things that you would do at a Powerboat Level 2 level, approaching a mooring buoy, coming alongside, doing a man overboard. So try and make sure that you're up to speed with what the RYA is recommending. You've got the RYA Powerboat Handbook, as you get more senior, you've got the Advanced Powerboat Handbook, you've got the Power Schemes Instructor Handbook. So make sure you've got those, and the Powerboat Logbook as well, and start powerboating and that you're au fait with what the RYA is looking to put across in terms of skills. You're also assessed in terms of theory. Have you got the skills you actually need in terms of your charts, your tides, your buoys, your coal regs type stuff. Assuming you get a tick in the box in terms of that pre-skills assessment, then you can progress onto the instructor course. It may well be that you're asked to just brush up on some areas ahead of coming in. That's quite normal. There's very few people that come on a skills assessment and don't need to do anything to brush up ahead of coming into an instructor course. So don't be put off if that is the case for you. The instructor course is 3 days. It's run by a powerboat trainer on behalf of the RYA, and then on day 3 there's a moderator, a second powerboat trainer that comes in really to do a few things, to check the work of the trainer actually running the course, to give a second view on how to teach things, and it is very much part of the course that 3rd day, and quite inevitably to give a different perspective on your skill set as well, so the 2 trainers can discuss that and determine the outcome at the end of the course. And it's a really good 3 days. It's about teaching you to teach. It's about teaching you the elements of the Powerboat Level 2 course and what the teaching points will be and how to structure those and how to brief and debrief. So it's a really busy 3 days, but people progress really, really rapidly within those 3 days. And if someone's, in the opinion of the trainers, got the right skills to progress, then they'll look to make a recommendation for a pass. If there's some areas to brush up, then they'll identify an action plan. So some things to brush up and work on to get you to the level you need to be at to be that powerboat instructor. And the trainer and the school would look to work with you to achieve those objectives. And that's a really good thing. Again, don't look at an action plan as a negative thing. It's actually a good thing. The worst thing that could happen would be if you were a bit rusty on tides, for the trainer to say, yeah, don't worry about it, just get out there and teach. Well, that wouldn't be good for anyone, would it? So what the trainer will do is work with you to identify a way for you to brush up that knowledge about tides, and then to get out there and be reassessed on tides in some way or other. Could be nowadays sort of remotely or face to face, and then if you tick the box in terms of reaching that standard, then they can make that recommendation. So it's a trainer's job to make those objectives realistic and achievable for you to help you become that powerboat instructor. And then when you become a powerboat instructor, invariably you start with an RYA Training Centre, maybe the one that you've actually done your course through. So that's one of the things to explore is, can I sit in on a course and see a level 2 ahead of that at a centre? Can I actually sit in after my instructor course and actually work with an experienced instructor to start to deliver a real course with real people? So there are all things that you can look at. But in terms of becoming a powerboat instructor, it's a great thing. It's a really brilliant thing to be able to share your passion, your knowledge with others, and to get that guidance during the course as to how to do that, the information to get across, the level at which to actually get it across, and to learn basically the tricks of the trade. So if you've got further questions about becoming a powerboat instructor, there's information on the website, there's information on the RYA's website. Just contact your local RYA Training Centre.